Today is February 10th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today on the Big Book, we are on Chapter 3. We're beginning that today. More about alcoholism. We'll be reading page 30. At the 12 and 12, we're still on Step 4. We'll be reading page 52. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. Nice and chilly in the garage, but I got my little space heater here. And also, I was given this gift yesterday after a meeting. And it's this cross, and carved inside the cross itself, you see a hand from the very top holding on to a man who's trying to hold on to somebody reaching up. And that makes me think of the program so much. It's absolutely beautiful. So now I got it sitting by the desk here. I'm going to be looking at this thing every time that I record. So thank you, my dear friend, if you're listening, for that gift. What a beautiful reminder. So with that, let's get to the good stuff. Out of the Big Book, we're on Chapter 3, More About Alcoholism. Now, when I read this, I think about how I was, always trying to figure out a way to drink like normal people. So this one always kind of nails me to a T here. So here we go, page 30. Most of us have been unwilling to admit that we are real alcoholics. No person likes to think that he's bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it's not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove that we could drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently may be, has to be smashed. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control. All of us felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. We are like men who have lost their legs. They never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics of our kind like other men. We tried every imaginable remedy. In some instances, there have been brief recovery, followed always by a still worse relapse. Physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree that there is no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Page 52. The most common symptoms of emotional insecurity are worry, anger, self-pity, and depression. These stem from causes which sometimes seem to be within us, and at other times to come from without. To take inventory in this respect, we ought to consider carefully all personal relationships which bring continuous or recurring trouble. It should be remembered that this kind of insecurity may arise in any area where instincts are threatened. Questioning directed to this end might run like this. Looking at both past and present, what sex situations have caused me anxiety, bitterness, frustration, or depression? Appraising each situation fairly, can I see where I have been at fault? Did these perplexities beset me because of selfishness or unreasonable demands? Or If my disturbance was seemingly caused by a behavior of others, why do I lack the ability to accept conditions I cannot change? These are the sort of fundamental inquiries that can disclose the source of my discomfort and indicate whether I may be able to alter my own conduct and so adjust myself serenely to self-discipline. Suppose that financial insecurity constantly arouses these same feelings. I can ask myself to what extent my own mistakes fed my gnawing anxieties. And if actions of others are part of the cause, what can I do about that? If I am unable to change the present state of affairs, am I willing to take the measures necessary to shape my life to conditions as they are? Questions like these, more of which will come to mind easily in each individual case, will help turn up the root causes. "24 hours a day, February 10th. AA thought for the day. Since I realized I had become an alcoholic and could never have any more fun with liquor, and since I knew that from then on, liquor would always get me into trouble, common sense told me that the only thing left for me was a life of sobriety. But I learned another thing in AA. The most important thing anyone can ever learn: that I could call on a higher power to help me, to keep me away from liquor. That I could work with that divine principle in the universe, and that God would help me to live a sober, useful, happy life. So now I no longer care about the fact that I can never have any more fun with drinking. Have I learned that I am much happier without it? Meditation for the day. Like a tree, I must be pruned of a lot of dead branches before I'll be ready to bear good fruit. Think of changed people as trees that have been stripped of their old branches, pruned, cut, and bare. But through the dark, seemingly dead branches flows silently, secretly, the new sap, until with the sun of spring comes new life. There are new leaves, buds, blossoms, and fruit, many times better because of the pruning. I am in the hands of a master gardener who makes no mistakes in his pruning. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may cut away the dead branches of my life. I pray that I may not mind the pruning, since it helps me bear good fruit later. Daily Reflection, February 10th. I don't run the show. When we became alcoholics, crushed by a self-imposed crisis we could not postpone or evade, we had to fearlessly face the proposition that either God is everything or else he's nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was our choice to be? Alcoholics Anonymous, page 53. Today, my choice is God. He is everything. For this, I'm truly grateful. When I think I'm running the show, I'm blocking God from my life. I pray that I can remember this when I allow myself to get caught up into self. The most important thing is that today I'm willing to grow along spiritual lines, and that God is everything. When I was trying to quit drinking on my own, it never worked. With God and AA, it is working. This seems to be a simple thought for a complicated alcoholic. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. It's some beautiful stuff. Oh my goodness. I mean, going back to the big book, how many times did I wish and almost get resentful of people who could drink normally? It was an obsession for a while, long before I darkened the door to the fellowships that, oh man, well, maybe I can do this and that and this and that. I only drink on the weekends or only drink at a certain time of the day and only so many, trying to regulate my drinking, and it just wasn't working. But I love what the 12 and 12 talks about. A couple days ago, they talked about sex and fear, and today we've been talking about security and financial insecurity. And the bottom line is, it's getting down to the root cause of why we do the things we do. Because if I can get down to the root cause of why I do certain things, I can pray about that root cause. And if I can hand that cause over to my higher power and work the steps with that cause and everything, then that eliminates even the thought of wanting a drink for me. See, when I was so angry at myself, making the decisions I made, all because I was insecure and didn't know who I was, I would drink, right? And then I would get so angry at myself for drinking and making more bad decisions and everything. And it was a horrible spiral that I've told you all about many times. But when I can eliminate that feeling of inadequacy, that feeling of fear, or rather when I let my higher power eliminate it and work on that root cause, then eventually that fear melts away, or that shame and guilt melts away, and I don't want to drink. And also it's kind of related, we're talking about roots here in the 12 and 12, and then right over to I believe it was either the 24 hours a day of the daily reflection, talking about pruning. Sometimes in the process of pruning, it takes a little while. For me, it's definitely taken a little while. Like I always say, I'm a slow learner. As painful as it can be sometimes in the pruning process, it's necessary to bear more fruit. So sometimes when I'm going through a hard time and I'm still wrestling with a certain 7 deadly sin, whatever it might be, fill in the blank, when I finally give that over to my higher power after I've experienced so much pain, eventually my higher power will let me use my greatest weakness to help the newcomer or help somebody else who's going through the same exact thing, where I can look that person in the eye, that man, and say, hey, I've been where you're at. Let's dive through the book here. Let's see what the book says. And here's what worked for me. So what was once my greatest liability becomes my greatest asset, all because I let my higher power prune these dead branches, repair these empty vessels. But my friends, I've rambled on enough. I don't know if any of that made sense. It kind of did in my head, but I don't know if I really explained that well. But I hope you all have a great one today. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, or any other sector or denomination. I am just a grateful, recovering alcoholic, honored to be here today. And if you're sober, my friend, you are a miracle. And I hope you realize that, and I hope you know that those who love you are very proud of you. And if you're not sober today, you're a miracle as well. I want you to know something. I was at a meeting yesterday, and a lady who had quite a bit of sobriety went back out. But she came back. How much courage does it take to come back? And the nice thing is, although she was so angry with herself, I heard a lot of folks say that does not undo these several years that you had sober. And you came back. What guts and courage does that take? So she came back to this big, loving embrace of the fellowship. So if you're right in the middle of a relapse, I hope you know that you can come back. Don't let it be an excuse to keep drinking. Just get right back on the horse. Forget the self-anger and hatred and everything like that. Come on back and find somebody that can help you figure out a way to get down to the root causes of why you did it in the first place, other than the fact that we're alcoholics. But anyway, my friend, I hope you have a great one. You're a miracle as well. And I hope you realize that you're worthy of recovery. So with that, my friends, if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.